If you're a fan of ridiculously hard run and gun games with huge boss battles, you've probably already got your eye on CUPHEAD. However, whilst we've seen a lot of the bosses, which yes, are terrifying, I thought it would be good to prepare you for some of the small but still deadly characters you'll meet in the challenging platforming levels. So here are some enemies that will make you rage and how to deal with them. On the surface, these daisies are your regular platformer bad guys. They run back and forth along the platform hoping to bump into you and do you damage. These flowery menaces can easily be dealt with by sending a few bullets their way, but don't think it's over once they're gone. Nope, as soon as you've dealt with one, another will appear from the sky, floating to the ground with a big snarky grin on their face. Another thing you should be wary of is that sometimes they can jump between platforms, so you could jump to what you think is relative safety, only for them to run after you and send you into a blind panic. So don't try to avoid or get around these rotters, just shoot them as quickly as possible and keep moving forward, making sure to shoot behind you occasionally in case another one drops down and creeps up on you. Now the next enemy sticks to one platform, but they're just as much a pain in the arse as the daisies, if not more so. These little blueberry looking things run back and forth along platforms trying to get under your feet. They're not too low for shooting range, so you can easily take them out with a satisfying little honk noise. But you soon realise that being flattened is just a temporary thing for them, as you see the little sods pop right back up again. These enemies are very frustrating to deal with because you have to constantly think about them when they're on screen. Flatten them as soon as you can and run out of their range. If you can't, or if there's one ahead of you that could cause you trouble, wait for them to pop up so you can shoot them straight back down again. So I think purple flowers are really pretty, but have one of the ones from CUPHEAD in a bouquet and you could cause some serious injuries. These projectile shooting stress inducers have projectiles which go straight for where you're standing and burst into flames upon landing. Now you can just run past them, but 99% of the time you'll be having to deal with other enemies that will slow you down and cause you trouble, and you'll likely get stuck and kaboom. So often it's a better idea to stop and deal with them, dodging their attacks. And if you want my advice, don't jump over them. Just don't. My favourite way to deal with them is up close and personal, and I really enjoy using platforms to my advantage. I'm used to mushroom enemies in games, you say. I know the deal here. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but these little blighters are a little bit different to your standard Mario fare. Buried into the soil, their bright spotty caps are the only indication that they're there, and you can't do them any damage until they pop up. When they do pop up, they shoot purple spores at you which deal you damage, and you can't stop them. You just have to jump and run and oh god. These mushrooms are tricky to get rid of for two reasons. Firstly, if you don't shoot the stems, your shots will just deflect off the caps. And secondly, it isn't always easy to predict when they'll pop up. I mean, just watch my complete fail here. Your best bet is to get nearish to them, duck, and just shoot. Yes, play the waiting game, keeping an eye on other enemies around you that are easier to deal with or avoid. Finally, there are three enemies that you can't really deal with at all, but you just have to try your best to avoid. First off is the small pink ball, which looks like a ball of pollen, except it has spikes coming out of it. Hovering up and down and not really doing much else, it's an inconvenience which you can easily avoid with good timing, unless you're desperately trying to get away from other enemies and or projectiles, and you jump straight into them. Secondly is a plant with just massive teeth. Like the pink spiky things, their movement is purely vertical, being the classic coming up from beneath the screen between pit jumps enemy. Again, timing is key and you just have to make sure you don't rush. Time your jumps with them and make sure that in avoiding them, you're not jumping straight into another enemy. Thirdly and finally, we have the Acorns. Bloomin' Acorns. They're slightly different to the previous two in that they not only move horizontally, but they also go straight for you. Travelling across the top of the screen, they'll stop as soon as you're underneath them and just drop. So you'll have to get the hell out of the way, which on my playthrough usually meant, yes, you've guessed it, straight into another enemy. Basically, my general advice is to play this cute but deadly Contra-style run and gun game by, well, running and gunning. If you stand still for too long, you become a sitting duck, or more accurately, sitting cup, so run back and forth, keep an eye on the edges of the screen, and just keep shooting. Anyway, are you looking forward to the game? Let me know in the comments down below, give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and subscribe for way more videos from us in future. See ya!
Bravo!